Welcome to Wimbledon Women Talk Show. I'm your host, Crystal Frederick. And today we have our dear special guest, Lisa Caprelli. Lisa is a speaker, a songwriter, and she's an award-winning author of the Unicorn book series, Unicorn Jazz. Lisa, thank you so much for being our special guest today.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited, Crystal, for being on your show and so many tips of nuggets and information we could give to the women, the great women who follow your show. So thank you.
Tell us what you do, how you do it, how you reach the kids, and how you can reach us.
Oh my gosh, there's so many things to share. The thing I do, this is actually a book and song and a show that's now on Amazon TV and Kids B TV app. But kids and adults of all ages love the book series, the picture books, and how we've tied them into song. You know, I grew up loving Sesame Street. I'm sure you did too. And then I got to enjoy it with my children who are 15 years apart. So yeah. Sesame Street really inspired me, as it did generations of people. And when you pay attention to the learning that is going on and the reinforcement of music, of the puppets, you know, of adults coming together, of funny, you know, humor, ways of learning, and short little video clips, if you think about it, during the pandemic, because I was stopped from going into schools and doing live author visits, which was becoming, you know, the bread and butter to what I was doing. And I was very, very grateful. My background was in branding and marketing. So when I changed my life to become a full-time children's author and speaker, it was one of the best things I've ever done. And I feel like God's given me that purpose to do that. So when the pandemic entered, I turned some of my characters, Unicorn Jazz and Trey Ziki, into puppets using green screen, like you could see behind me, getting kids, different people to send in video content. And thanks to technology, we merged it in to create a show called The Thing I Do. So that's the very short story.
That's awesome, Lisa. I mean, just to put that all together the way you did, to use that as a gift, what made you decide? I mean, when do you reach that period you go, hey, you know what, this is not bad what I've written, you know, I should become an author?
I have to date written, published 18 books and counting, including coloring books, educator kit. I went on a 3-year journey to write this book before I created Unicorn Jazz in the series. So this book, Skip a Step, Imparting Wisdom for Young Entrepreneur Minds. I interviewed 13 different notable entrepreneur and leaders about what makes for happiness. What would you tell your younger self? It wasn't about how do you make a lot of money. I mean, ultimately, we want money as in a business as reward for doing what we're doing, for sure. But the stories and the meaning and the lessons that came from all these leaders was a variety of things. And for example, in chapter 1, Michael Gerber, who wrote the E-Myth series, said many nuggets, and you have to be willing to push beyond what's ordinary to achieve something extraordinary. He talked about something young kids have access to. It's a treasure trove. It's called reading, you know, things like that. And when I asked him, as I did every single person, is what is the meaning of life to you, which was one of the last questions, you know, and he said, why, it's to create. And other people said to have vision, it's to be kind to others. People and are everything. And it was at the end of publishing this book, it was just the perfect timing. It was in 2018, before the pandemic. I had this innate calling, like I meant to help millions of people. Well, how could I do that? And as God was reaching me, I said, well, my writing, I know how to write. I already have published different books. And, you know, long after I'm gone on this earth, as we all are, what do I want to be known for? And it was for me to create books, but create children's books, because it was a way for me to revisit my childhood and give myself, through the eyes of children, things I wish I had gotten. Like in Unicorn Jazz, in the first book, she moves to a new land in search of new friends. She feels like she doesn't belong until she meets a crow named Wolf, and who believes in her. And so this book is about belonging. It's about friendship. It's about music. Unicorn Jazz is a music note for a tale. And it's important that we believe in others, because sometimes it just takes one person to believe in you, as I had in my lifetime. So it was, the pandemic entered, and I was already working on the book, The Thing I Do, and a song.
Mhm.
So in that May of 2019, was it 19? this time period that we're in,
I
right? It's
know,
like
I
a
know.
capsule. So I got 19 kids and adults together to create The Thing I Do, music video and song. And the book wasn't ready to be out yet, but because I was already going into the classrooms and getting kids excited about imagination, creating, imagining what would be a story they were to create if they were an author of their own book, and realizing that we need teamwork, we need other people's ideas and perspectives to create something bigger than ourselves. I am just the
That's good.
spokesperson behind Unicorn Jazz. I have an illustrator, I come with designers, people that could design the toy puppet characters, the videos, the editing, all those different things. The green screen you're going to need when I put on this, that's going to be wiped out when I make the video. And kids actually know what green screen means today. They think about it. You and I, Crystal, we didn't know what that meant.
Right.
So it was just a myriad of taking advantage of technology and taking advantage of, for myself, the teamwork and collaboration that I was going to need, that came its way through platforms like Zoom, through technology where we all have phones pretty much, even kids, that we can create our own content. So I used all of those opportunities to be able to do Facebook Lives, YouTube Lives. Eventually, my dream was to get it on a streaming service. Right now, I'm just on Amazon TV and an app called Kidsby TV. But I dream of getting it on more platforms. Trey Ziki, who is named after my younger son, Trey, but played the voice by my older son, who's a nurse. Super funny. Matthew, my older son, plays Trey Ziki. He has a game show that's on The Thing I Do show. And we were just talking before the show, Crystal, you and I, that you'll be one of our contestants on the Guess the Thing game show. We record some more next month.
That sounds wonderful. I'm telling you, I love the fact of the book, for belonging, because that is something so serious, that we
Right?
all, like you said, we all. And I was telling my audience, hey, this is not just about, I know it appears to look like it's just focused on the children, but we all still, as adults, deal with belonging. We deal with those issues that you tackle in each book. It's just beautifully written how you're able to convey the meaning of belonging to the children in such a dynamic way. That's
right.
uniquely.
I mean, think about it. You as a child, whoever's watching this, whether you were shy, I was super shy, like Unicorn Jazz, my character, or extroverted, or a combination. There's many times in your childhood and in life that maybe you feel like you don't belong, or that you wish you were different. And I used to wish that I was not shy. I wish I was like the popular kid, the extroverted kid. But gosh, I look back now, Crystal, and I needed to be that shy girl. My only voice was on paper. I was able to observe the world around me. I was, intelligent. I was a straight A student year after year. But my expression and my voice was through writing. And I did get recognized by my teachers and professors when I went into college, and the companies I worked for my writing. I didn't know that was going to be the thing that I do. I wish I would have known if an author would have come spoken to me, or someone that said, when you have a speaker come speak to you, the message should be as it's reaching you, every one of you that's in the audience, as much as possible. And so that's the message I carry to kids and adults, is that you can do the things you want to do. Maybe you've entered a career and that you're not happy with. Well, guess what? You can change it. Sometimes you can, because financially, maybe you need that income, but you can have hobbies and interests to develop the things that you love to do. We're all living longer. We're all living longer than ever before. We have more time on this earth to do different interests. Maybe you like to bake, like Sam the Snake, maybe you like, science, art, technology, like what we're doing is thanks to technology. So I get kids excited about what are the things they like to do, sports, play a new instrument. when you are doing what you love and what you are born to do or to develop this interest, you're going to be happy. And when you are happy, you're going to pour that happiness into people around you. You're going to exude amazing energy doing the things you love, whether it's walking on the beach, which I'm grateful to do today. I grew up in the desert, never got to do that. You know, dance and sing, you know, play make-believe. And through the pictures, I get kids excited about what makes them happy. And it's just thanks to this little bee called Be Happy.
Wow. Lisa, I'm telling you, that is so beautiful. I love it. I love the fact that, like, how you point out everything, every book you've written is like, it is so relatable. I mean, it is so relatable. I love the fact that you pointed out, for many of you that may be introverts, you know, it's funny because I have to tell people that about myself as well. See, because people really don't know, you know, they believe that that's just, you know, you just talk, you this and that. No, I can't explain it. It's like what you said. It's like it gives you a voice. For me to do the talk show, and I could not explain how I thought I was gonna die when I first started the radio show. You know, I was like, you know,
right?
I was thinking like, and you know what, Lisa, was crazy about it because it was pre-recorded, right? And I still was nervous. I was so nervous.
And that's normal. And the fact that there's a saying, you must do the thing you cannot do. And for you, you had some kind of inner voice or something championing you to do it anyways, knowing that you're not going to speak perfectly when you're on live, which we are now. You know, we can't redact our statements. We just can keep communicating and conversing. But I often think of people like Ellen DeGeneres, right? Everyone knows who she is, a huge following. And she kind of stutters. I mean, but we are forgiving of that because that's who her personality is. And see, my flaw is sometimes I can't say my R's and W's. And that's my flaw. I just make fun of myself at my age now. And I just learned, like, just keep going. You know, we're all not perfect. We're all unique. We're supposed to be.
That is so true. You know what? I just learned, hey, I'm upfront. I tell everyone upfront, I am just real. Okay, so when you're just real, that means I am not a TV rehearsed actress.
Right?
I am just real. This is how it comes. So I tell all the guests, when you come, just be you. You know, just be you, because my audience are used to that, the free person, the transparent person. So that's who they're looking for, the realness. And that's what I call us, the realness. So you are perfect. You're perfectly fit.
Yes. Well, thank you. Well, you know, and I feel that everybody has a story to tell, and it could be a made up story. It could be fictionalized.
That's true. That's true.
And you know, I get asked all the time, you know, to help someone write their book, and I will do ghostwriting. It's not common because, you know, for me, it's like if I'm helping you create your book, I'm not creating my next one, and I'm always working on one or two books at the same time. But I do love the feeling. I've helped many people write their books and guide them. So it's a side thing that I don't mind doing. It's good discretionary income per se. But what I've learned is everyone has a story to tell, and there's different ways you can bring it to life through picture books, you know, through art alone, through a chapter book series. I mean, there's so many different ways. For me, because I really do think in pictures, I want everything to be a picture book now.
Wow, I totally understand. I actually do have like a book that's sitting birthed in me that I have not even written, a child book, you know, and I had it for many years, but I really want to put that book out there. I really do. And because it deals with something very deep, but it also deals with something that so many children have faced and went through. I believe that it's going to be something that will help children identify things, and then not to for things to come to light a little bit more in their life. I mean, but it's more on the serious end, but it has to be, but I want to come in the childlike way to break it.
Yeah, well, let's talk at another time.
Let's talk about it. Yeah,
I'll
tell you. Yeah. And then you can tell me, because I have a name for it too. You know, I already got the title. So. But yeah, so that's wonderful to know that you do that. So that's wonderful, guys. You can reach out to Lisa even for ghostwriting. Isn't that nice? She does it, it's a side thing. So, look
Yeah.
out for it.
Well, I feel like being an entrepreneur, especially as a woman, we all wear many hats. If you're a wife, mom, worker, all these different hats, friends, sister, aunt, all these. Those are some of the hats I wear. It's about balancing, life and time. And I think that all entrepreneurs are workaholics until you learn not to be, like I have. I've learned to balance my time into different areas of my life. I wrote an article. I'm so grateful that I'm a Forbes writer now. And I've done several talks on the 5 hats, which are 5 areas of life that I feel can bring meaning and balance and happiness to your life. And they're each different for each of us. There's no right or wrong. So the 5 areas of life are family, friendship, career, connection, and adventure.
Okay.
I believe in God, so of course I pour God into all those areas of life. I share that because I have found, and this is through the research, I've worked with hundreds of CEOs and different people, wanting that happiness, and certain elements of their life would suffer. For example, if you're a workaholic, well, your family life's probably going to suffer, and you're going to have your family saying, "When do we get to see you? All you do is work," and
Right.
and that kind of thing. And so I've learned to turn off the career hat when I need to balance these other areas of life. I wish those were things I had learned when I was younger, but sometimes you got to go through life to learn these things.
No, I love what you're saying because many of us we still a work in progress with taking that career hat off. We are. I want to add that little adventure part in there. So you got to tell me
Yeah.
what that
Oh
about.
yeah, it's true, because adventure could be whatever's your adventure: hiking, swimming, riding. It could be so many things, and it could be self-care, but that's adventure. And I coined the 5th hat as adventure because I, again, in discovering why people did things the way they did, is that they wanted more adventure in their life.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. So share with us some of the names of the different puppets you have, and tell us a little bit about what you do in that
Yeah,
area.
so Unicorn Jazz, I first brought to life as a plush. She has a music note for tail, which she's copyrighted. I did that on purpose. The business side of me was, I wanted to create a brand. There's Hello Kitty, there's Mickey Mouse, and for me there was Unicorn Jazz, and I really feel one day will be a household name. I get great platforms like yours to share the good news about Unicorn Jazz. I go into schools all over the country and sometimes different parts of the world, thanks to technology,
Right?
and Zoom platforms, where I get to share my books and the characters. And one day I pray that it becomes an animated series. So it's all with, short stories, which is what picture books will do. And I Be Happy is just a stick figure in my show, The Thing I Do. And we did that on purpose to show that you can kind of create something out of nothing. You don't have to go to all the work. These actually took a long time to make, the puppets, Unicorn Jazz and Triziki, with all the detail. She had to have, again, in the music note for her tail, as she did in the first one. So believe it or not, these took about a year to make. I had some early
Wow.
concept ones done, which I needed like rushed when I was creating the show. The world won't notice all the details, but I noticed the details.
Right, right.
And I've created them now so people can purchase them. I have just about 200. Teachers and librarians love them. Of course, kids would love them, parents introducing them. So I'm working on creating box kit with the puppets, with some of my stories that people can purchase as gifts or for their
Beautiful.
library.
Oh, I think that would be a wonderful gift to get the puppet and then get the books in there, like package deal, a package gift with all that in.
Yeah. And I mean, I in my book Help and Give Back, we introduced a new character named Panda M, named after our kid star and actress Panda, who's named Emily. And so she sings a lot of our songs for us. This one's Help and Give Back, Help and Give Back. What can you do? You can help and give back. Feed a friend in need And so see, she sings better than I do,
The
but
food pantry.
this was really mostly pictures, little words. We did that on purpose because we wanted the art and the song and the imagination of the person reading this to tell the story of different ways that we all can help and give back.
It's just brilliant. Do you know, I'm just looking saying, this is just brilliant. I mean, it just reminds me of the scripture. I mean, quick to hear, short to speak. You only saying little things in it, and they so impactful.
Right? There are
Give
many
back.
ways to help others. It says, what can you do? You can love. Don't give up. Think positive. Find someone who needs help. And it could be through even recycling, helping. I do a lot of work with children's hospitals and story time. I work with a local food bank, and we give books throughout the year, and they give out groceries to families in need. So, books, of course, are important. Just even helping someone with technology. I tell kids, maybe you're helping, their grandmother, an older person. Almost every child knows that they're going to help with technology. That's helping.
Wow.
Have patience, right? Because I need patience when someone's helping me, helping someone cross the street. This kind of represented Habitat for Humanity, but we wanted to make it again something that children could see that there's ways to help. Of course, now technologies like Zoom, like what we're doing, that's helping. Like we're helping others through this show right now.
Wow. I love how you put that together with the book, with the food pantry and stuff, because it just reminded me, I mean, a few years ago, I remember helping with, we did breakfast during the summer, to help feed the kids program for the summer, because a lot of times, a lot of children do not get to actually eat because they're not going to school during the summer. And so what I
Right.
did, did a program, we have joined it with a dear friend of mine, feed the children during the summer program, and that's what we did. We were able to get some books donated, some books, so they didn't just go eat because they have to eat there. They didn't just eat there, the nice lunch and breakfast and lunch.
I'd love to get that story for a blog post about that, because I love getting these life stories to show. So we'll talk for sure. I'm so grateful to connect with you.
Likewise. So putting the books together with that, I thought, to me, you just said it. So that's brilliant, that you actually put it in your book, you displayed it in the book.
I was doing it during the pandemic, and before I started volunteering since I was a child. My sister and I would find 10 cents. 10 cents was a lot for us because we grew up really poor, but our summers we spent volunteering at the hospital, with seniors, giving our time. I was always like the one that wanted to play games and do the fun stuff, which is still giving someone your time was treasured by them. And so during the pandemic and onward, for people who feel down and out, or maybe you feel depressed, or something's not going your way, I've been there, done that. I stop and tell people, stop thinking of yourself. The opposite of selfish is to help others. Find something that you can get involved with, and again, watch that fill your happiness cup. And so I'm constantly working to do giveaways. I don't count the cost. God gives us the reward in people through blessing me with creating songs and books and getting into audiences. When I get to speak to 100 students or 1,000 students, like I don't take that privilege lightly. Like that's a really big deal, to have that kind of time to feel for someone that's entertaining and educational. It's a big responsibility. I take it. I say thank you for making me who I am, to share and ignite the passion, happiness, creativity, and imagination in others. I'm proof that you can do it. I grew up with nothing. I grew up very poor. I grew up where our way of enjoying time was laughter with my sisters, making up stories, making up silly games. Like, imagine if you do have some of these basic essentials in life, what you can do. We all had something happen to us. We have all had struggle. Yeah. Who are you today? What's the story you want to be? What do you want to be known for? I want to be known as someone that helps children smile, create, and believe. People have stories about what happened to them. They're very inspiring. Struggles, the stories really inspire me to, like, okay, but then what did you do? after that struggle. Time to feel for someone that's entertaining and educational. It's a big responsibility. I take it. I say thank you for making me who I am, to share and ignite the passion, happiness, creativity, and imagination in others. I'm proof that you can do it. I grew up with nothing. I grew up very poor. I grew up where our way of enjoying time was laughter with my sisters, making up stories, making up silly games. Like, imagine if you do have some of these basic essentials in life, what you can do. We all had something happen to us. We have all had struggle.
Yeah.
Who are you today? What's the story you want to be? What do you want to be known for? I want to be known as someone that helps children smile, create, and believe. People have stories about what happened to them. They're very inspiring. Struggles, the stories really inspire me to like, okay, but then what did you do after that struggle?
The Lord had said that to me too, Lisa. One time, I was telling some other people, they was like, you need to write this now. I go, no, I'm not gonna write about the trauma, because I was told, in my spirit came, don't write about the trauma. You can mention you've been through there, but your book should always be about the trauma. It should never be about the trauma, because you don't want to keep people living there. Why would I want you to
Exactly. Right. I mean, I agree. And I mean, I will say, there's a statistic like, 85% of people want to write a book and less than 3% do. Okay. And because I am an author of many books now, people oftentimes one-on-one like stop and tell me their story. Like this is amazing story, Lisa. It's like a movie. And do you want to write it? And I'm like, no, it's and for me, it's very rare that I find someone's story compelling. I'm sorry, unless the one stories I felt compelling are when they're a documentary on television of someone that's achieved so many things, is a great writer. That's how movies are born, because of great writing,
right,
and storytelling. And then you're like, who wrote that script, right? And so for me, I tell people, I want you to remember Unicorn Jazz. I don't care if you remember my name. When you see, Star Wars, and we all know the story of George Lucas and how hard it was for him to make his first movie, and people thought he was crazy, and people didn't know what the heck he was doing. He was a determined man. His wife helped him at the end. I mean, there's so many different stories to the Star Wars behind the scene making of the creation. But I stop and think of, like, you look at the posters, you don't see, the George Lucas on the poster, right? You're seeing the characters who we want you to see, the imagination part of what makes Star Wars Star Wars. So when I observe those kinds of things, I it's important for me when I brand, even though I am the spokesperson and I do storytell my stories, people want to see me, I want them to remember the characters and what the emotions and feelings are that they bring you.
I love that. That is so beautiful to me, because that is the truth. I would say I like it, because they will outlive you. The characters will outlive you, and they're gonna be always there. Because unfortunately, like you say, we can say unfortunately, but fortunately, we have to go to another place. Yeah.
Right. And when I go into a library and I see my books there, I really think, one day when I'm not on this earth, my books will still be there for their children and their children's children. So even though I'm only 50, I want to write as many books as I can. I don't know what that number is. I want to do, in a perfect world, more than Dr. Seuss did. I want to have a bunch of Unicorn Jazz stories, music, and God willing, a cartoon series, more of the shows that I've been able to do. So for me, it's just lining up with the right people. There's things that I need, but creating all these content and assets, as I call it, is definitely going to help me. I often think of baby Einstein. She created her idea out of her garage, and 5 years later, she's selling her tremendous content to Disney for upwards of $24 million, So it's a far-reaching goal for me, for what I want to do. And I just keep working hard at it every day. and growing my network and growing in the areas that I need to be growing as well, knowing that it's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, but I know that you can do it. I really do. I don't know if you had a chance to download that app. It's not that I'm advertising for it at all, but I know that the connection of the people,
Yeah.
Clubhouse, that Clubhouse app,
Yeah.
if you had the opportunity to download that. But I know that there are several artists and producer on there, and they are looking for people that have books. They're looking for people that wants to be, do film and all, and produce
Yeah, I need to get on Clubhouse again. I was on it a while ago, but I need to be strategic with what would be my purpose for
where
going
you need
there.
to go, right?
Yeah.
No, there are particular rooms just for that, though. There are particular rooms just for people that, authors and all that wants to have, connect with somebody that produces.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, you may have, you may go on there and connect, tomorrow, today, with someone that actually can take that, because your stuff is all written. Guys, it's wonderful to be prepared. Lisa is prepared. She's prepared for the next level.
Right. It's not just an idea. You
right.
could see it, touch it. No. And I often say, for me, it was important to keep creating, not waiting for a publisher. I created my own publishing company because I often say, a lot of times through the years when I represented different people that wanted their idea to be, $1 million idea, I said, well, your idea is worth $0. The execution and the action steps in creating what you want to create, that's where you want to start.
It's amazing because what you're saying is, hey, I did all that. I had that idea, but I put it in action. And so basically that's what you're saying to everyone. Hey, I know you all got these beautiful stories out here that you want to share, but you got to put it in action because the years, just like I explained, is going to jump past. Because if you don't really just draw attention to yourself, but at least I think it comes from, like you said earlier, you were saying there are 5 things, those 5 things, that balance that has to go in place, because you can't really formulate your imagination until you really get that balance in your life. You got to really get that balance. So I love how you brought the books and your books focus on the imagination. I like how you said I put limited words in there because it allows the reader to develop an imagination. And believe it or not just children read your books, grown-ups read your books, and that helps expand your imagination. So I tell any adults right now, if you pick up Lisa book, I mean, if you have a problem in sleeping, you have a problem in, imagine anything, getting that imagination rid, or you feel stuck in your business, you feel stuck in your home, you feel stuck in any way, please go pick up one of these books. I'm telling you, do you guys not get compelled to want to read that book? Look at that, being happy,
I know.
I mean, just
helping someone learn, and people love, petting your cat. It's hard. I love this book. And, there's the Love Is book, which was Love Is copyrighted. So for me, I thought, well, the next best thing besides love is being happy and sharing happiness. And kids, when I go into schools, they share, and adults, the teachers and parents start sharing what makes them happy, and they want to tell everyone around them, and it's the cutest thing, and that's what it's meant to do. And so I have this book in Spanish, Abejita Feliz. It's being done in French soon, and I want to actually get it into sign language. It's just an easy, beautiful book that really anywhere on earth you can really share what makes you happy.
Gosh, that is so beautiful. Just look at that. I mean, Lisa, you're thinking and you're considering everyone, you have it in Spanish and you also want to get it in sign language. That's wonderful. I'm telling you, who would not want that book? Who would not want to share? Because just you talking about it, being happy, it just makes a smile on my face. I can try to keep one often, but it just makes you want to smile. It makes you want to give that to somebody. Think about it, you all. Purchase this book and just send it to someone that feeling a little low. Just put it in the mail. They be like, well, do you give me that? You think I'm a kid? You don't know. I want you to be happy. Be happy.
And being happy is free. At the end of all these pages, I tell people being happy is essentially free. I mean, color is the last page, coloring together. Almost everyone likes to color, especially when you're a child. But I think, I want to end with I want to ask you, Crystal, what do you think is the average amount of times an American adult laughs per day? Just take a guess.
Oh my gosh, Lisa, you had to watch my show yesterday. You had to watch it. And I know you didn't, but that is what a friend of mine, we were on the show. We just jumped on the show. We did a dynamic duo tag team, and we jumped on the show and we was like, hey, we didn't really work on anything to discuss real quick. Not on this show, but we just did a show live real quick. And we said, we want to discuss being happy. And we just laughed and we talked. Yes, and we were laughing the whole time.
Okay, so the average American adult laughs about 17 times a day.
That's
the average child laughs over 100 times a day. So for me, I love that statistic, and I love that I get to work with children or have that mindset, you know, when I'm not physically in front of children, that's what my work and purpose is for. That's what keeps me young at heart. I mean, I bring the puppets out to almost any podcast show I'm on. I was on this business entrepreneur show. I brought them out with the two hosts were two men. And I just started with this, and you should see them smiling ear to ear. And they started talking about bringing puppets into the workforce. I mean, the conversation just went fun sideways. And I was just really happy because, you know, what happens when we adults? Like, why do we have to stop being, you know, young at heart? So all this has come full circle for me in being able to reach adults, you know, like you and I are doing, you know, and then also still reach children. But hey, the adults are the decision makers in the books. I have to be able to reach both the adults and the children in the work that I do. And I'm grateful that through the years, all my experience led me to do that. And I think, you know, I'm here to say that through your experience and all the years of what you have, you, Crystal, or you watching this, you are something pretty special by now. And you have the ability to manifest and create something that's God intended you to create with your talent. And I think that you should do the things that you do and keep the world going round.
That's beautiful said, Lisa. I'm so thankful to have you. I'm grateful that to have you on the show and have you share like this. This is beautiful. I mean, it just, since you've been on this show, I haven't stopped smiling, and it's a wonderful thing. I am one of the ones that do laugh often, so I guess I'm gonna be put in that youthfulness, you know, because I do love to laugh because I believe you have to, and so I'm so thankful that you share your books and all. Please tell our audience exactly where they can go to purchase.
Yes. Thank you. Well, the easiest way is to go to unicornjazz.com. You know, I'm Lisa Caprelli. You can find me on connected with all the social media, and I'm kind of easy to reach. I do manage my social media with my assistant. You can find all kinds of information if you're an educator. My free curriculum and educators kit we have on our website under unicornjazz.com. You click on education. My social media, we're constantly putting out fun content. I know that we're going to be creating a bunch of little mini game shows called Guess the Thing with Trey Ziki, again played by my 30-year-old son who's a nurse. We're going to have you on one of those pre-recorded shows. So for me, I love that I'm creating content that's fun for kids, but it's fun for me to create. I mean, I jump out of bed. I literally have to go to bed, you know, balance my life, and then jump out of bed to create the next day. I think it's amazing.
But I do want to say to a lot of the primary teachers, I mean, if you're out there, you know, the teachers and elementary school teachers, this will be a very nice show to for the students, because I know that when I was doing the stuff in that area, you know, they had certain shows that we will actually show the kids, you know, we will actually go online.
Yeah, no, and I donate my shows. Thank you. I donate my shows to schools that I get to present in. Because it makes year-round learning, and teachers send me screenshots of their kids watching it on their, you know, their big screens in the classrooms, which many classrooms, thanks to technology, have today. Yes. And I'm just very grateful.